folks, this is a follow-up to the financial frauds of Harry Rilling, who's mayor of Norwalk, who used to be police chief. And if you follow the story, I'd like to show you my file on him. Keep in mind that he's operating a criminal check fraud racketeering. So, if you go here on the right, back to 3/24/16, part 1 is his emails right here. His emails to and from the Detective Bureau instructing that I should stand in a long line of check fraud victims, and that which will never be investigated. So Muggs right here, Muggs is Detective Maloney, who took over a brokerage firm, took control of its assets, and is a protection racket for none other than Bernie Madoff and many of the criminal enterprises that were working with him, including Bank America, Fleet Securities, Fleet Bank Boston, Fiserv, Computer Shares, and many other criminal entities. So, I want to highlight a few things. Bear with me, please, because the second part of this is right here. If you look at part 2 of Brian McCann's file, okay, if you go down to page 175, these are police reports, folks. This is about the detectives knowingly, okay, obstructing justice on a case while stolen checks are being cashed. Now, here's a letter from Jeffrey Spar maintaining that he's done everything he could do, though they never subpoenaed the banking records, okay? Not only were hitmen hired, informants were approved for violent acts, but this is just one of the cases that I've been working on, and there are quite a few. Let's get back to the point at hand. So the legal department is fully aware. I have their file too. They're kind of upset that I have their file, but you can look and read anything that, any questions you might have, you should look at this file, because look at this page. On Monday, October 3rd, 2005. Keep in mind, I was a whistleblower against Bernie Madoff, okay? For them to make the statements that they made, they claim I went to the High Ridge Banking Center of Bank America, okay, and claimed that I here, read this sentence. I did a search on ICMS, formerly Fleet Legacy Case Management, and got a hit on John Flynn, case blah, blah, blah. The incident was for threats made by John to branch manager Carol Oliveri. I never threatened Carol Oliveri. The threat he made was to blow her head off. It does not state that in the incident summary. But I called Carol and she explained to me what happened. This is well documented. Okay? I went to the Darien Bank. She's the bank teller on High Ridge Road in Stamford. Lola Riley is a bank manager. Lola Riley is a bank manager who took instruction from third parties about 8 bank accounts that were looted. And to this day, Bank America has not given us a single record, though we have filed over 300 lawsuits. We have not gotten discovery because of Judge Provader, Adams, Heller, Jacobs, and about 25 other judges to a smaller extent. But fee waivers were denied, which is a administrative faux pas, and they violated various discrimination laws by withholding approvals for many people who were financially harmed that had their securities stolen, which are property rights protected by the Constitution in the Constitution state. So what's happening here is quite complicated. It's a cabal. It's the mayor instructing the detectives not to investigate check fraud when they're telling the client, me, that they are investigating. For 20 years, Norwalk's been saying, we have an ongoing investigation, you need to give us more time. Meanwhile, every single bank account has been looted now. There are 3 million shares of stock missing, and we're out $47 million. One of those stocks in that portfolio we have 3 million shares of. They're sitting in the private placement bank vault of Bank America, who is Jim Himes's largest donor. So what I'm saying is, Himes is receiving bribes while he sits on the Intelligence Committee with oversight of FBI, CIA, NSA, okay, and the Financial Services Committee with Maxine Waters. So Mr. Himes there never prosecuted OxyContin, never prosecuted anyone in the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac debacle, never prosecuted Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, AIG, never prosecuted Bernie Madoff, as Bernie Madoff held cocktail parties in Greenwich, Connecticut, where hedge fund managers paid him homage. They were allowed to break various laws, and look at Diallo, gave $14 million to Comey, who was referred by Blumenthal for the Hillary Clinton investigation. What I'm saying is, various police chiefs in Connecticut are part of a criminal enterprise that use confidential informants for murder for hire. Then what they do is they make false statements like these statements made by Maloney, saying that I was a domestic terrorist. I'm not a domestic terrorist. I'm waiting diligently for Maloney to research financial fraud, and Deputy Chief Zecca has denied us all police reports. I can show you her letters, her emails. I have them all. It's absolutely insane. I have filed 13 ethics complaints with the city of Norwalk. Now they're saying, go file a FOIA. I have 21 outstanding FOIA with the city of Norwalk. 21. Where are they? Yeah, I've been to the FBI. They're not investigating Harry Rilling, though they want him, just like they just arrested the chief of Bridgeport. But what you need to know is these guys are sending hitmen to kill people, which is a bigger deal. That's the part I focused on first. And what happened? They sent another one. So the fact is, in the Constitution state, the state does not recognize federal law, and approving crime like Whitey Bulger being approved to commit murder by Mueller, and by Mueller, who you obviously know. Now reflect upon this, okay? When the police use an informant and they don't notify the FBI of the informant and his activities, when they don't document everything the informant does, and they don't continuously supervise the confidential informant, it's murder. If it's murder for hire, it's murder for hire. There's no immunity if they don't follow the federal guidelines of Janet Reno, which is to, A, document everything that has to do with the informant. So, what did Stanford do? Stanford had a chief named Larrabee who worked for Malloy and Judge Provater. When Malloy became governor of Connecticut, Malloy made Provater a judge. They steered all these financial crime cases to Provater, Heller, Jacobs, and a few more. Heller has a relationship with NASDAQ. Her special master is John Carberry, who is Bernie Madoff's attorney. So, how are these items? I'll tell you what the biggest problem right here is. Connecticut Superior Court stayed 350 lawsuits pending arbitration at NASDAQ, and NASDAQ refused arbitration. So therefore, this $47 million stolen by Maloney as an accomplice, aiding and abetting Kelly Dry and Warren, which is Judge Adams's law firm, is a problem. So, we are filing corruption charges. We filed them with Norwalk, with Sergeant Scully. We haven't heard from him. This is part 2. The mayor race for Norwalk is coming up next week, and we'd like to know why anyone in Norwalk would vote for a kingpin of organized crime. Thank you very much. I am running for U.S. Senate to try to clean up the judiciary, and I have a way to do it, and I'm going to try. But the fact remains, the more hits they put on people, you should be concerned. The Stanford Barrier case where the kid was murdered by taser, the state's attorney took a bribe and says no tasers were used. That's because Sean Bogger has the evidence. Sean Bogger works for the Stanford Police Department. We filed criminal complaints with the FBI about that, okay? What is happening is Comey, who worked for Diallo in Connecticut, has his hands on the strings of the Connecticut FBI. Yes, because he controlled Comey, who controlled the rest of the bunch. Now, look seriously at what happened to Trump. Framed by Jim Himes, who said he had collusion evidence that Trump colluded with the Russians when in fact it was Hillary, the Abraj Group, Bill Clinton, okay? The K container ship industry problem is now the cause of those container ships offshore. Why? Because the Russians have a system of ICBMs that they plant inside container ships, inside containers that are being driven around by trucks and put on flatbeds of railroad cars. And now we have a problem that all those container ships have to be inspected for ICBMs. They can't detect what's inside the container ship. So, what I'm saying is the Connecticut cabal, its ties to various judges and Congressman Jim Himes, who's on the getting bribed, has connections to the DNC. Keep in mind, 112 million of bribes from OxyContin went to the DNC, so they would not be criminally prosecuted. We're talking about a major crime network in Connecticut. There are numerous people involved. Chief Nappy, Chief Gallo, Chief Larrabee, Chief Rilling, all on the police commission. All in the Chief Association, the Police Chief Association of Connecticut. You need to wonder, okay, why we're allowing Connecticut to take down the rest of the country. Look at Blumenthal, his Iran deal, and bribing Al-Qaeda, Hamas, and other terrorist groups not to blow us up with our own material that Clapper and Brennan approved with Hillary as Secretary of State. Wouldn't it be ironic if we all got blown up by our own uranium? All these felons are connected. It's a cabal, and I hope they all get arrested very shortly, and I have intel on it. If you want to talk in private where we can't share it, I have a lot more information that I'm not willing to share at the moment, but it should start coming out probably next Friday. Have a great day. I think they're waiting for another election so they can get more information. Why not let them do it again? And when they do, there'll be twice as much evidence of election fraud. Have a great day. So this is part 2 of the Rilling expose. Be safe. Happy Halloween. Let the kids be kids. Wear a mask. Who cares? It'll provide safety to 10 or 15% of the population. That's about it. But I bless you and thank you for all your efforts in sharing my information. I'm having people walk up to me I have never met saying, I follow your page, I read your stuff. Well, I hope Judge Adams reads this one, because John Parent never worked for me. John Parent worked at Kelly Dry and Warren, who is a smoking gun money launderer, who stole 6 NASDAQ workstations. And if you know the story of Nick Leeson, he brought down Barings Bank that financed the American Revolution by sticking 6 trades in a desk. Well, we have 500,000 trades out there. And you know what? I'm the principal. Those are my machines. Those are my securities licenses. I was supposed to see and approve those trades. Actually, I'm the only one registered to execute the trades. I'm the only Series 55 and 24 at Greenwich Global LP. I am the only one. And Detective Maloney took over a brokerage firm, commandeered those bank accounts so they could be looted, and Rilling instructed him how to do it. Have a great day. And by the way, I never threatened Bank America with anything. No, I didn't. What actually happened is on December 4th, 2000, I got a threat, ultimatum, and a deadline. I was extorted, and Maloney played a role. Yes, he did. Have a great day.